off the consent agenda. It's longer than the Constitution. The longest list for last. Yeah.
If I could have your attention, please. Thank you. That's okay. It's about the hardest I've had to hit that thing in a long time, the gavel. I think it's okay. Thank you. Being 7 o'clock, we'll call the meeting to order. Thank you. Roll call, please.
Mayor Baspis.
Here.
Commissioner Baker.
Here.
Commissioner Collins.
Here.
Commissioner Gary.
Here.
Commissioner Miller.
Here.
Commissioner Talentino.
Here.
Commissioner Tuarty.
Commissioner Talentino.
So make a motion to excuse Commissioner Tuarty.
Support.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Both same sign. Motion carried. Thank you. Please stand and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Okay, thank you very much. Under proclamations and recognitions, we've moved the Youth Advisory Council students to the front of the agenda. They were going to do it during the public comment, but they're here now, so we'll have Commissioner Baker is going to vacate her seat and take the podium, and we're going to introduce the YAC students. And again, thank you for the banner program that's been very successful, and you're going to talk about some other things too. So.
Yeah, thanks for having us. We
Ms.
just
Baker.
wanted to give a little update on the History of Hometown Heroes project. I'm sure many of you have seen the banner slowly going up last week. We should finish Osborne down to the VFW tomorrow, and then on Wednesday, Armstrong's down to Portage, and then they'll all be up. We've gotten great response from the public, so much so there's a waiting list already started. We're meeting with Cloverland on Thursday to hopefully work out some polls with them and do a second round at a later date. I just wanted to thank the community for their support and everybody that purchased a banner, and of course all the vets for their service. It's a really nice tribute, and I believe it looks really nice downtown. Adds a really good beautification for the city. I've got some YAC students here. Triton Johnston, Bailey Savoy, Taylor Picco, and Cole Sanderson, and Danny Price hiding in the back. And they're going to talk to you about May 30th, which is when we celebrate Memorial Day here in the Sioux with our vets, where the VFW and the Legion will be putting on the parade. So they're going to tell you a little bit about parade and what's going to go on after.
Okay. Good evening.
Thank you for having us here and letting us talk to you about what we're doing on Memorial Day, and thank you for allowing us to do the banner project in the town.
So on May 30th is when we're going to be like revealing the banners to everyone, like actually announcing the reveal basically. And then we're also going to be hosting a celebration down in Brady Park.
Yep, and so at the celebration, we're gonna have games, the Legion will be doing cooking, and if anyone's willing to donate around the community, that would be helpful, so hopefully we can make the food free of charge, if not, be probably by donation.
And that's after the parade?
Yeah, the parade will start at
7 o'clock.
Pingators at 7 o'clock, the ceremony following the parade at the courthouse, and then right after the courthouse, we're inviting the entire community to come down to Brady Park and the Legion there, just to have a community cookout and celebrate Memorial Day and our vets.
Okay. Okay, thank you very much.
Thanks, guys. Good job.
Also, under the city manager report, item G3, has been asked to be pulled from the agenda. That would be the Benoit properties. Okay, under C, item C? Oh, is there, okay. Need a motion to pull it off the agenda? Commissioner Talentino?
I'd like to make a motion to remove item G3 from the agenda.
Support. It's been moved, supported. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carried, thank you. Item C is the public comment. Anyone wishing to speak on an agenda item, you may identify yourselves now. And you'll have 3 minutes during that agenda item to briefly discuss what you'd like to at that point. Okay, hearing none, we'll move on to the consent agenda. Deputy City Manager Troyer.
Under the consent agenda, 1, approval of the City Commission meeting minutes of May 6, 2019. Acceptance of the Airport Advisory Board meeting minutes of April 11, 2019. Item 3, acceptance of the Brownfield Redevelopment Authority meeting minutes of March 22, 2019. Item 4, acceptance of the Economic Development Board meeting minutes of April 9, 2019. Item 5, acceptance of the Historic Structures Management Committee meeting minutes of April 24, 2019. Item 6, acceptance of the Police Fire Pension Board meeting minutes of March 13, 2019. Item 7, acceptance of the Police Fire Pension Board meeting minutes of April 17, 2019. Item 8, acceptance of the Tax Increment Authority Unit 3 meeting minutes of November 13, 2018. Item 9 is reappointment of Jem Depaprasad to the Economic Development Corporation for a term to expire June 1, 2025. Item 10, appointment of Alicia Williams to the Planning Commission to fill the balance of a term to expire April 19, 2021. Item 11 is reappointment of Kristen Collins to the Recreation Building Authority for a term to expire January 1, 2022. Item 12 is excusal of absence of city attorney from the June 3, 2019 regular city commission meeting. Item 13 is resolution of current clerical collective bargaining agreement study committee task. Item 14 is update to authorize signers for City of Sault Ste. Marie. Item 15, approval of MERS employer resolution establishing uniform transfer provisions. Item 16, Council for Local Government and Education on Equality and Inclusion Participation. Item 7, adoption of uniform guidance policies, federal award policies and procedures. Item 18 is approval of a waiver of first right of refusal on Chippewa County tax foreclosures. Item 19 is award a bid for the Cloverland Electric Plant appraisal. Item 20 is from the Economic Development Corporation, approval of a contract for crack sealing at Sanderson Field. Item 21, from the Economic Development Corporation, acceptance of a proposal to market industrial park property. Item 22, from the Economic Development Corporation, award a bid for professional engineering services at Sanderson Field, A&J from Prin and Newhoff. Item 23, from the Economic Development Corporation, approval to close out SuperValue Brownfield Plan. Item 24, from the Economic Development Corporation, termination of Premium Oil Bulk Plant Brownfield Plan. Item 25, from the Economic Development Corporation, approval of a budget revision for Brownfield Redevelopment Authority. Item 26, from Chippewa County Community Foundation, authorization to sell liquor on city-owned property for the Sioux Ultimate Paddle Day on August 17, 2019, subject to the rules of Michigan Liquor Control Commission and any rules established by the city manager. And item 27 is approval of the consent agenda items as presented.
Okay, thank you for that lengthy list. 27, that might be the record. Saved it for his last meeting. Anyone have any questions or comments on the consent agenda? If not, Commissioner Miller.
Could that be read again? Thank you, Your Honor. I move that we approve the consent agenda items as presented.
Support.
It's been moved, supported. Are there any questions? Roll call, please.
Mayor Boskus?
Yes.
Commissioner Baker?
Yes.
Commissioner Collins?
Yes.
Commissioner Gary?
Yes.
Commissioner Miller?
Yes.
Commissioner Talentino?
Yes.
Motion carried, thank you.
Item E, special orders of business. 1, public hearing on the final resolution for purposes of establishing the 2019 tax levy for the City of Sault Ste. Marie.
Okay, thank you. City Manager Turner.
Thank you, Mayor Bospas. As commissioners are aware, The recommended tax millage rate for general operations is proposed to remain the same at 16.8139 mils in the 1920 fiscal year. There is a millage change that is proposed in the police fire retirement in order to meet the employer contribution as calculated by the city's actuaries. It is recommended the millage be increased by 0.0624 mils to 6.1390 mils to cover the actuarial obligations for the system for the 1920 fiscal year. The Police Fire Pension Fund and its management continue to be aware of the impact of this millage rate, and for additional information, viewers or readers can look into the city's pensions contained in the expenditure trends section of the budget message, or reach out to the city staff. The city has also increased the solid waste millage from 0.5632 to 0.6520 in the budget to cover more of the increasing cost for related services. These millage changes would result in an increase on a home with a taxable value of $50,000 of $3.78 for the upcoming year. As the public is aware, the city bills taxes for all taxing units beginning with the summer bill issued on July 1st and a winter bill which is sent on December 1st. Collections run through the last day in February, and unpaid bills are transferred as delinquent to Chippewa County for collection. The average taxable value for a residential home within the city is $39,833, which equates to a true cash value of just under $80,000. In 2019, property taxes for the typical occupied residence with the principal residence exemption totaled just over $1,700. Spread evenly over 12 months, for all taxing units, this is approximately a rate of $143 per month, although approximately 54% of this bill comprises revenue directed to the city, with the balance being directed to other taxing units. In other terms, the city operating millage is restricted and cannot be raised, but the others are tied to specific expenditures. Importantly, for the average residence in Sault Ste. Marie, the average tax bill equates to $78.35 per month. This amount compares favorably to the average cable bill at $107 per month, the average national car insurance of $118 per month, and the average cell phone bill at $80.25 per month. Prior to making any motion on this matter, the duly scheduled public hearing must be held, after which I would recommend the City Commission adopt the included final resolution for purposes of establishing the 2019 tax levies as laid out in the motion. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So at this time, we will have the public hearing on the final resolution for the purposes of establishing the 2019. Turn the mic on. Public hearing on the final resolution for purposes of establishing the 2019 tax levy for the city of Sault Ste. Marie. At this time, is there anyone that would like to make a comment? Okay, hearing none, we'll close the public hearing. Commissioner Gary.
I make a motion to adopt the included final resolution for purposes of establishing a 2019 tax levy, maintaining the millage for charter operations at 16.8139 mils, increasing the millage for solid waste collection from 0.5632 mils to 0.6520 mils, and increasing the millage for the Police and Fire Pension Fund by 0.0624 mils from 6.06766 mils to 6.1390 mils in order to meet the actuarial requirements for the Police and Fire Pension Fund.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Are there any questions? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Baker?
Yes.
Commissioner Collins?
Yes.
Commissioner Gary?
Yes.
Commissioner Miller?
Yes.
Commissioner Talentino?
Yes.
Mayor Bostos?
Yes, motion carried. Thank you. City Manager.
Item 2, public hearing of water and sewer rates for the 2019-2020 fiscal year.
City Manager.
Thank you, Mayor. As commissioners are aware, water and sewer rates are calculated annually in order to recover all projected costs relating to operating the city's utility systems in accordance with the city charter and the Michigan Department of Natural Resources and environmental quality requirements for low-interest bonds utilized for the combined sewer overflow projects completed in the past. There are 3 components to the utility rates, which include, first, an administrative charge, secondly, a commodity charge, and thirdly, a capital charge. The administrative charge includes charges related to billing water customers, such as postage, cost allocation for computer services, insurance, and the cost for reading, repairing, and replacing meters throughout the city. The administrative charges are recovered on a flat amount charged each month. These costs are divided based on the number of water customers and the number of sewer customers. The commodity charges recover the cost for operating the water treatment plant and wastewater treatment plant, as well as the costs relating for the transmission and distribution of water and sewage throughout the entire system. The commodity charges include salaries and wages, utilities, the purchase of various chemicals for treatment, repair and maintenance of infrastructure, and similar charges. The final category of costs recovered through rates are for capital costs, which include all debt payments required for the utility system, including those associated with the combined sewer overflow program. Capital costs would also include any construction for improvements to the system included within the budget. The costs are used by the Finance Director and Finance Department for rate setting and are based on the recommended budget. The administrative charge is a fixed fee that is allocated equally on a per-month basis among all customers of the city. The commodity charge and capital charge are based on each 100 cubic feet of water used by the customer. The Finance Department utilizes average water consumption over a multiple year period to determine the likely amount of water which will be sold during the course of the upcoming year. The method of calculating water and sewer rates was approved as a requirement for the Department of Environmental Quality in exchange for subsidized interest rates on many of the CSO projects which have been completed by the city. This rate-setting procedure was evaluated last year as part of the SAW grant project, and no improvements to the process were recommended at that time. This year's water and sewer rates are proposed for increase at a rate of 4.27% for customers utilizing 700 cubic feet of water and sewer services. As part of this rate structure, the city has been able to provide for funds being directed into capital reserves for the improvement of the system, which is important to continue maintenance and repair on the system itself. While a majority of the city's costs for providing water and sewer services are fixed, as commissioners are aware, the quantity of water and sewer services sold is variable. Since the rates need to cover the financial obligations, whenever usage decreases, the fixed costs must be allocated on fewer units sold. The number of units sold is impacted by many factors, including the price of service, the replacement of less efficient appliances, fluctuations in tourism, and weather, which can all impact the need of water within a community. At this time, the City Commission would need to hold a duly scheduled public hearing, after which time I would recommend that the City Commission adopt the presented resolution establishing water and sewer rates for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2019, as laid out in the agenda. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. At this time, we'll hold a public hearing on the water and sewer rates for the 2019-2020 fiscal year. Is there anyone in the audience like to make a comment at this time? Okay, hearing none, we'll close the public hearing. Let's go to Commissioner Talentino.
Thank you, Your Honor. Motion to adopt the presented resolution establishing water and sewer rates for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2019 and ending June 30th, 2020, thereby establishing the rates for monthly administrative charges, commodity charges, capital charges for water and sewer users as presented.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Are there any questions? Just a comment to the public that we have been dealing with this for somewhere around 5 months now, so that there normally will not be a lot of discussion when it comes to the actual motions. We've been through this a number of times with questions and answers and been through the whole budget. So just if you're just tuning in for the first time, this is a very long process, and it started by the administrative team back in October of the previous year normally, and they're thinking about a lot longer than that too. So just for FYI type of thing. So we have a motion and support and a roll call. Please.
Commissioner Collins?
Yes.
Commissioner Gary?
Yes.
Commissioner Miller?
Yes.
Commissioner Talentino?
Yes.
Mayor Bospas?
Yes.
Commissioner Baker?
Yes.
Motion carried. Thank you.
Item 3, public hearing on user fee schedule for the 2019-2020 fiscal year.
Okay, thank you. City Manager.
Thank you, Mayor. As commissioners are aware, annually the City of Sault Ste. Marie reviews and modifies the established user fee schedule for the upcoming fiscal year. The user fee schedule is a comprehensive list of various fees that are charged for services within the city as modified by the City Commission during the budget work session. A resolution for the purpose of adopting a fee schedule for the fiscal year beginning July 1st.
Okay, thank you. At this time, we'll hold the public hearing on the user fee schedule for the 2019-2020 fiscal year. Is there anyone in the audience who'd like to make a comment at this time? Hearing none, we'll close the public hearing. Let's go to Commissioner Baker.
Motion to adopt a resolution establishing a user fee schedule as set forth by the City Commission during the budget development process for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2019, and ending June 30th, 2020, as presented.
Support.
It's been moved, supported. Are there any questions? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Gary,
Yes.
Commissioner Miller,
Yes.
Commissioner Talentino,
Yes.
Mayor Vasquez.
Yes.
Commissioner Baker,
Yes.
Commissioner Collins.
Yes.
Motion carried. Thank you.
Item 4, public hearing on the General Appropriations Act for 2019-2020 fiscal year.
Okay, thank you. City Manager.
Thank you, Mayor. As noted by the mayor, the recommended budget is a result of efforts by city administration and with the support and input of the City Commission dating back to October and November of 2018. Over recent months, department heads and staff provided various information as required by the Finance Department in order to develop a budget for review. In February, the City Commission held a goal-setting session to identify any specific priorities for consideration in the process. As such, the budget is developed through a rigorous process requiring numerous hours from the City Commission as well as City Administration. This year marks the 4th presentation of a 2-year budget, and the inclusion of the additional year is anticipated to continue to be a helpful guide for decision-makers in current and future years. The implementation of a 2-year budgeting structure has also been viewed favorably during ratings of the city's credit, through which the city has been deemed to have good financial management and practices, S&P Global. The 2019-20 fiscal year recommended budget estimates that the city will retain a general fund balance of roughly $2.763 million. This includes an estimated unreserved fund balance in an amount just exceeding $1.568 million. The 21 fiscal year recommended budget estimates the city will retain a general fund balance of just about the same amount, including an estimated unreserved balance in an amount just exceeding $1.581 million. Critically, the unrestricted fund balance is estimated to be above the parameters of the city's minimum fund balance policy, which calls for a 15 to 20% minimum fund balance, at a rate of 23.9% for each respective fiscal year. As noted during the May 6th regular meeting, City Administration and City Commission are aware of trends which must be evaluated and monitored diligently within the next 3 to 5 years in order to sustain the city's continuing fiscal strength. These challenges are framed by historic issues involving structural reductions in state revenue sharing. Critically, it's estimated that the city has lost over $10 million in total revenue sharing since these cuts were aggressively implemented by the state in the past 15 years. To emphasize this point, according to a study from Michigan State University, since 2002, the state of Michigan has led the nation in cuts to municipalities. The Census of Governments, published every 5 years by the Census Bureau, reported that between 2002 and 2012, municipal revenue from state sources increased in 45 states, and the average increase was 48.1%, whereas in Michigan, municipal revenue from state sources declined roughly 57%. In conclusion, the financial challenges facing a majority of municipalities within the state are numerous. However, the financial framework of the city has served the community well. The guiding financial principles, the implementation of a 2-year budgeting process, improved long-term forecasting, the implementation of a 6-year capital improvement planning process, the adoption of a debt policy, the adoption of a minimum fund balance policy, the continued use of financial management practices verified by independent agencies, a developed goal-setting process, solid community collaboration and support for strategic projects, and the hard work of many talented employees have all served as a reliable foundation for continued stability in the delivery of municipal services and, in certain areas, an expansion of the city's service delivery model. In addition, recent growth and investment in the community has supported the efforts overall to progress in the areas of talent attraction and the cultivation of entrepreneurialism. I would like to thank everyone involved in the development of the budget for the current fiscal year, as well as the development of the additional year, 2 years. In particular, I would like to thank Finance Director and Treasurer Collins for her efforts and constant dedication to a fiscally prudent municipal operation, as well as the department heads and those employees engaged in the process. Finally, the administration appreciates the hard work of the City Commission during this process, which has spanned several months. Accordingly, at this time, the City Commission can hold the duly scheduled public hearing on this matter, after which there are two recommended motions. The first to adopt the General Appropriations Act for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 19, and ending June 30, 2020, projecting revenues and establishing appropriations for various governmental functions in the city's operating and other funds, and secondarily to accept the fiscal year 20 to 21 budget as conceptually prepared. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. And at this time, we'll hold a public hearing on the General Appropriations Act for the 2019-2020 fiscal year. Is there anyone in the audience like to make a comment at this time? Okay, hearing none, we'll close the public hearing. Commissioner Miller, there are two motions. We'll do one each separately, please.
Thank you, Your Honor. I move to adopt the General Appropriations Act for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2019 and ending June 30th, 2020, projecting revenues and establishing appropriations for various governmental functions in the city's operating and other funds as presented.
Support.
It's been moved, supported. Are there any questions? Roll call, please.
Yes.
Commissioner Talentino?
Yes.
Mayor Bosmas?
Yes.
Commissioner Baker?
Yes.
Commissioner Collins?
Yes.
Commissioner Gary?
Yes.
Motion carried. Commissioner Miller?
Thank you, Your Honor. I move that we accept the fiscal year 2020 to 21 budget as conceptually prepared.
Is there support?
Support.
It's been moved, supported. Are there any questions? Roll call, please.
Give me just a second. Commissioner Talentino?
Yes.
Mayor Bosmas?
Yes.
Commissioner Baker?
Yes.
Commissioner Collins?
Yes.
Commissioner Gary?
Yes.
Commissioner Miller?
Yes.
Motion carried. Thank you. Okay, that takes care of the, all of the fiscal responsibilities for the budget. Again, thank the administrative team, the city manager for their diligence, and certainly the commission for also the diligence in the meetings that took place. So, okay. Thanks.
Item F, Communications, one from Mayor Bospas, appointment of Deputy City Manager Robin Troyer as acting city manager.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. As the commission is aware, the city manager, Oliver Turner, has accepted a position in Northwest Ohio to relocate closer to family, and this will be his last meeting. Deputy City Manager Robin Troyer has indicated a willingness to serve as acting city manager during this period of vacancy in the office of city manager. She has undertaken this task previously between the services of former city manager Spencer Nebo and manager Oliver Turner, and as the people that have been sitting here and were involved in that process know what a great job that Robin Troyer did during that time. The City Commission should, if elected to appoint the Deputy Manager Troyer as acting city manager, would be doing so in accordance with Section 4.8 of the city charter, which states that while serving as a city manager, such an individual would have all the responsibilities, duties, functions, and authority of the city manager. And I would like to defer to the city manager to talk about the projects that are ongoing and those that we should maybe put on hold until the permanent city manager is forthcoming. So, city manager.
Thank you, Mayor. Included within the agenda packet is a listing of the projects, initiatives, and other efforts currently being undertaken by city administration, and detail of city commission goals and best practices. This details the departments which have primary responsibility for undertaking tasks. There are just a handful which are proposed to be placed on hold until a new permanent city manager is in place. Notably, under city commission goals, that would include A5, the establishment of a new city visioning document, and D5, continued research into expanding all-terrain vehicles onto streets. And then under projects, the Blue Ribbon Finance Committee. Certainly in addition to this list, it's my understanding that the administrative capacity of the team right now is stretched very thin in terms of the existing projects, those listed out. ranging from the build grant, the access and placemaking grant, continued roads improvements, and then, of course, day-to-day operations at the departmental level.
Okay, thank you very much. And just a word to the commission. It's a very busy time for the administration. We know you've seen the list of projects and activities that will be going on during this next 6-month period, primarily summertime, fall. So we would ask the commission to, you want to say constituent concern, certainly talking with the acting city manager is something that we certainly would encourage. But try and stay on point with the goals that we have established. It's going to be a very tedious time. We're going to be very busy ourselves with the process of looking at another prospective manager candidates, and that will all be going forward. So we certainly, as a commission, we said last meeting, certainly wish Oliver Turner, who's done a very excellent job as city manager in the 5 years that he's been here. We're looking for a person much like the city manager, maybe a little more hair, but that is not a requirement.
That's not a high threshold.
But, and we also have, and we'll bring him up here in a little bit, former Commissioner Jay Gage, who is representing Senator Debbie Stabenow, who has something also to present. So, but before we do that, let's go to Commissioner Gary.
I just wanted to double down, whoops.
I'll shut mine off.
Just for the record, we got scolded about these microphones. So we're trying to be careful about on and off. Just wanted to double down a little bit on your comments because Robin has, right now, she has 4 different positions. She's the clerk, the deputy city manager, she's HR director, FOIA director, et cetera, et cetera. So I think it's very, very important that we all, as commissioners, understand, acknowledge, and respect her time. She will not only be filling in as the interim city manager, but she's also has to direct all these other functions, as well as keeping together this new search team with MML. So I think that, you know, I will make a commitment for myself. I know I used to reach out to Oliver just like everybody else a lot, but I think we need to make sure that we understand that she's got a work-life balance to maintain, and we need to work with her and back off just a little bit so that she can do her work, so, going forward.
Okay, excellent. We're going to need a motion. Commissioner Gary, let's go to Commissioner
Yeah,
Gary.
my mic's still on.
Oh.
So I'll may I make a motion to appoint Deputy City Manager Robin Troyer as acting city manager effective at 5 p.m. on Wednesday, May 22nd, 2019, with an additional compensation of $600 per week being approved.
Support.
It's been moved, support. Are there any questions? Commissioner Miller.
I just wondered with all the other hats that Robin wears right now, I know she has a great team working with her, but is she going to have some extra help for some of the other stuff that she normally does while she's the acting city manager? Is there something, I guess this is for Oliver, is there something in place to help her so she's not so overwhelmed during this next 3 to 6 months?
City manager.
That's a great question. Thank you, Commissioner. I know that Deputy City Manager Troyer is very adept and that the team is also very adept. I think it's a matter of supporting the prioritizations which have been laid out and supporting that these efforts, while they're being carried on, that perhaps new initiatives will be placed under review until there's a time where capacity is there to launch onto new efforts.
Thank you.
Great, thank you. Any other questions? Roll call, please.
Mayor Bosmas,
Yes.
Commissioner Baker,
Yes.
Commissioner Collins,
Yes.
Commissioner Gary,
Yes.
Commissioner Miller,
Yes.
Commissioner Talentino.
Yes.
Motion carried. Thank you. And just tomorrow, from 3 to 6, there's an open house in the downstairs lobby, the main lobby, for Oliver from 3 to 6. We would expect that there will be a number of people there, so I'd like to crap on him a little bit, but I can't. He's just done an excellent job here for the city of Sault Ste. Marie, and again, in the 5 years, just very, very commendable. And now let me call up former Commissioner Jay Gage, who was with the Senator Debbie Stabenow's office.
Well, good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. It's great to be back home in Sault Ste. Marie. And I brought just a small certificate of congressional recognition to thank Oliver for his 5 years of service here in the city of Sault Ste. Marie. And on behalf of my boss and our Senator, Debbie Stabenow, we really appreciate the work that you've done here in the city of Sault Ste. Marie. I exaggerate a little bit when I say, but not too much, that Oliver Turner is one of the best city managers I've ever met. And I humble brag a little bit that I say he's the best in the UP. And so it's a tremendous loss to leave him. So I wish Robin all the luck. And if our office can do anything to help, we certainly will be there for you. But I'm also here on behalf of Senator Stabenow to ask you to reconsider and maybe just stay instead, just call the whole thing off. Yeah, but try that. So I'll just give this to you here, and I don't know if you want to see it, but that's what it looks like. So there you go.
Thank you very much.
Great, thank you very much.
Okay, thanks, Jay. City Manager, you always have a word to say, so.
Yes, thank you for that. Appreciate Mr. Gage presenting this and his friendship, and certainly the friendship of so many people that I've had the pleasure to work with and that I've had the pleasure to meet in this position, and the commissions that I've been able to work with, and most importantly, the support of my family, being able to commit to this. As I discuss frequently with Chief Riley, this is a lifestyle choice for me, and they've also contributed to that without a doubt. Our children being born into this life has been very rewarding for them, and everybody's been very patient with me, the family, the team here, and all of the friends that I've been able to make along the way. And as I mentioned at the last meeting too, for anybody who is looking into becoming the next city manager of Sault Ste. Marie, leaving on very positive terms, leaving with gratitude for the opportunities that I've been afforded. The commission is very supportive of the manager form of government that Sault Ste. Marie has, and certainly look forward to coming back in future days and future engineering day events and visiting very much. Thank you.
Well, you're certainly welcome back here, so feel free. We might even make you a Youper. Okay, thanks.
Item 2 under communications is from Dial-A-Ride. A, approval of operations plan. B, approval of operating budget for the program year beginning October 1, 2019. And C, resolution of intent to apply for state and federal assistance for fiscal year 2020.
Okay, thank you. City Manager.
Thank you, Mayor. As commissioners are aware, annually the city makes application to the Department of Transportation for operating funds for the Dial-A-Ride system as administered by the Community Action Agency for the city. Furthermore, in accordance with the agreement between Community Action and the city, Community Action Agency submits an operational plan and budget to the city, typically prior to March 31st. This information needs to be approved at the same time applications for funding to the Michigan Department of Transportation are submitted, since annual changes in the operations plan could reflect a change in the information submitted to the state. Importantly, the operation plan projects an increase in rider fare from $1.50 to $2 for the general public, and a rider increase from 75 cents to $1 for seniors and individuals with disabilities. These rates have not been increased for many years. The operation plan also details the number of buses that would be run and hours of operation. Attachment B, which is included, demonstrates the revenues and expenditure schedules for the Dial-A-Ride system for the 20 program fiscal year beginning October 1st, 19. The budget includes the request for $156,835 in state assistance, plus just over $74,000 in federal operating assistance, for total revenues projected at $412,000. The current city contribution is $92,000, which is estimated to stay the same for the federal fiscal year 20. Attachment C is the resolution authorizing an application for state financial assistance in accordance with Act 51, naming Dennis McShane and Joe Nolan with Community Action Agency as representatives under the resolution. The resolution outlines the federal and state revenues requested for the program year beginning October 1st, 2019 and ending on September 30th, 2020. And as laid out within the agenda, There are three motions, the first to accept the operating plan, the second to approve the proposed budget, and the third approving the resolution of intent for application with the named signatories. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. There are three motions. Let's go to Commissioner Miller.
Thank you, Your Honor. As the city liaison to this board, I'll make these motions. Motion to accept the operating plan for the fiscal year beginning October 1st, 2019.
Support.
Okay, been supported. Any questions? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Baker?
Yes.
Commissioner Collins?
Yes.
Commissioner Gary?
Yes.
Commissioner Miller?
Yes.
Commissioner Talentino?
Yes.
Mayor Bospas?
Yes, motion carried. Commissioner Miller?
Thank you, Your Honor. Motion to approve the proposed budget for Dollaride with $412,000 in proposed revenue and $412,000 in expenses for the 2020 fiscal year beginning October 1st, 2019.
Support.
It's been moved, supported. Are there any questions? Roll call, please.
Give me just a second. I got to pull these apart. Commissioner Collins?
Yes.
Commissioner Gary?
Yes.
Commissioner Miller?
Yes.
Commissioner Talentino?
Yes.
Mayor Bospas?
Yes,
Commissioner Baker?
Yes.
motion carried. Thank you. And finally,
Thank you, Your Honor. Motion to approve a resolution of intent to apply for financial assistance for the fiscal year 2020, which begins October 1st, 2019, under Act 51 of Public Acts of 1951, authorizing an application for state financial assistance and appointing Dennis McShane, Executive Director, and/or Joe Nolan, Finance Director as the Transportation Coordinator for all public transportation matters.
Support.
it's been moved and supported. Are there any questions? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Gary?
Yes.
Commissioner Miller?
Yes.
Commissioner Talentino?
Yes.
Mayor Bospas?
Yes,
Commissioner Baker?
Yes.
Commissioner Collins?
Yes.
motion carried. Thank you.
Item 3 is from Philip Wilcox, request to purchase a 40-foot by 97-foot portion of city-owned property located between 327 Ashman, which is the 906 Gym, and 405 Ashman, which is National Office Products, for $5,000.
Okay, thank you. City Manager.
Thank you, Mayor. It's my understanding that Mr. Wilcox was planning to speak to the commission tonight. Thank you.
Evening, Phil. Katie?
Thank you for your time. My name is Phil. This is my wife, Katie. We own Gym 906 downtown. What we're hoping to do is turn the park next to us into an outdoor gym. Right now, we're working on a facade improvement grant and had some conversations with the woman who did our blueprints. So if you guys can see, here's the park next to our building. It's been vacant for, I think, over 51 years, and we kind of would like to do something like this. So we want to turf the whole thing, put some fitness equipment out there so people can enjoy our summers. Last year was absolutely beautiful. And then with that outdoor gym, just make some improvements around our building and give people a chance to come and sit and enjoy our downtown. So we're here on your approval that we can build this outdoor gym.
Okay, thank you very much. It looks very good. Any questions of Mr. Wilcox? Commissioner Miller?
Would that little sidewalk still be there between the, would the whole thing be closed off, or could you still walk between there?
For our design and what is on that sidewalk would be gone.
Anyone else? Commissioner Talentino?
I know I asked this earlier, but just for transparency, I am an employee, a sole employee of National Office Products. Should I participate in any discussion and/or the voting of this?
City Attorney?
I believe you should abstain.
Oh, okay.
I'll abstain.
Okay. City Manager?
Thank you, Mayor. And if I could invite Mr. Freeman up front to present as well in terms of the administrative review undertaken on this matter.
Evening, Kelly.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. Just a bit of background. The city has owned this particular piece of property since late 1973. Records indicate we paid $17,500 for it, which is about $97,000, $98,000 in today's money. which tells me there was probably a building on it. Also, looking at the Polk directories, the address of that property, which would have been 401 Ashman, disappeared between 1973 and 1974. And also, this is right around the same time that the city was very active in taking down buildings as part of the downtown urban renewal effort. So near as I can tell, city purchased the property, demolished the building, and has maintained it as a park since. I had worked with the city assessor to determine a value. In your packets, there's a copy of the easement that was granted to National Office back in 2016 over the southerlymost 10 feet for light and air. Considering the impact of that easement on the property, the assessors determined a value of $6,000. Mr. Wilcox has offered $5,000 for the property. The transaction would simply be for the grass portion. There'd be no parking. There's, I believe, 3 parking spaces behind it that are part of the larger city-owned lot behind. Those would remain in our ownership, and it would be sold. What would be sold would be from the parking lot to the front edge of the sidewalk.
Commissioner Collins, you have a question?
Yeah. So my understanding when I read through the document was the 10-foot easement was in effect right now, but if they wanted to actually put a 1-story building on there, that easement could be vacated because they would still be able to put the windows in. Is that correct?
There's a lot of moving pieces in terms of what the, because it's all going to be driven by the building code. There's nothing in the easement document that says, what can be done on a 1st story, what can't be done on a 2nd story. So it would all be reviewed at the time the improvements were to be made, and if we needed to come back and make adjustments to it.
I guess
we
my
could always
question
do
is that being that they can't put windows in anyways, from what I understand, is there a reason to have an easement there?
My understanding, and I'm not the building official, is the issue is that if a structure is placed on the property line beneath those windows, if there were a fire in that structure, that fire could spread to the National Office Products building through the upper story windows that were put in 2016. So to prevent an issue like that from occurring, that's why the 10-foot easement was put in place.
Well, that's interesting, being that when you look at my building and the building next to me, right, there's quite a discrepancy, so if there's a fire there, chances are it's gonna flow into my building, right?
Yep, and, there's a lot of older situations that exist within the city, ours and many others. The fire codes as they are, any new changes, additions, whatever, have to comply with whatever's in place now. And obviously, whenever things were done under previous codes, those are entitled to remain.
According to the document, though, it didn't say anything about them not having the ability to put a building on that property. It just stated that the easement was there because of the...
Correct, and I don't know for certain. I can't give you a conclusive yes or no answer as to what can or cannot occur within that 10 feet.
Hence the reduced price.
Correct.
Gotcha. Okay.
I should also point out that since the City Commission has received my memo, I've talked to Shannon over at National Office Products, and she indicated no issues with the sale proposal.
City Attorney.
Thank you. I was confused on this transaction based on previous conversations that I heard. Are we selling the lot wall to wall?
That's correct.
Are we reserving an easement for the pedestrian walkway?
My understanding is that there was not an easement being reserved for the pedestrian walkway.
Okay, so we're just making a clean sale of this wall to wall,
That's correct.
parking lot to curb or to sidewalk or wherever?
That's correct.
Okay, thank you.
And there, just for clarification, there is a sidewalk one on the other side of the building that runs.
Correct. There's a walkway between
Right.
Gym 906 and Barish's.
Yes. Okay. Any other question? Commissioner Baker.
I just want to make a comment and thank the Wilcoxes for their investment in our downtown, and I'm excited to see what you guys do with the outdoor workout area.
Okay. Anyone else? Thank you. Okay.
I'd like to make a motion.
Commissioner Collins.
Motion to authorize the sale of the west 97 feet of Lot 187, Assessor Subdivision Number 4 to Philip Woodcox for $5,000.
Support.
Been moved, supported? It's been moved, supported. Are there any questions? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Miller,
Yes.
Mayor Bospas,
Yes.
Commissioner Baker,
Yes.
Commissioner Collins.
Yes.
Commissioner Gary.
Yes. Motion carried, thank you. Item number G is the city manager's report.
Thank you, Mayor. Item 1, under the city manager's report, would provide for the approval of a professional engineering services contract with OHM Advisors for the downtown access and placemaking project. On this matter, City Engineer Basista will present.
Okay, evening, Linda.
Good evening, Mayor, Commission. At the, your meeting in November 5th, 2018, you approved a grant proposal to the MEDC for a placemaking grant and accepted since MEDC has accepted our proposal and we've received a letter of interest. That's the process that the MEDC goes through for these CDBG grants, and that a formal application is not done until many steps in the process are completed. So we don't have a formal grant agreement yet, but the MEDC allows us to proceed with a pre-approval to proceed with the design engineering associated with the grant improvements. The grant is for the downtown access and placemaking project that consists of 5 parking lots and the adjoining streets, along with replacing sewer and water. The total project is in the ballpark of $5 million. And so as part of the process of selecting a consultant, we put out advertisement for requests for qualifications back in February, and we received six firms submitted their qualification statements in response to the RFQ, and those 6 firms, out of the 6 firms, we shortlisted 3 firms to conduct interviews. Those firms were OHM, C2AE, and Fleece and Vandenbrink. And we interviewed the 3 firms on March 11th. The interview panel consisted of DPW Director Jim Morrow, DDA Director Justin Nepper, Engineering Department Project Administrator Angie Patterson, and myself. The interviews were conducted using a scoring sheet that's included in your packet. So all of the interviewers scored on the same basis, based on their perceived response to the questions and the overall interview. And scores were then tallied, and the high score was OHM. And so since that time, I met with OHM to go over the scope of work, and they've presented the proposal that's in your packet in the amount of $506,000. And that is in line with what is expected for the level of effort that's expected for this project, and it's also within the established budget. So once we execute a contract, I expect them to begin the field work with topographic survey and geotechnical surveys, and then we will start the design process for all 5 parking lots and roads, and hope to target the construction bidding in February and start construction in early next summer. So for your action tonight is to approve the proposal from OHM and authorizing the city manager to execute the contract.
Okay, great. Certainly the placemaking activities that will be surrounded by the parking, this tremendous nearly $5 million grant from the state. We certainly appreciate that. Commissioner Gary?
This has been kind of a quiet project coming forward, and we've seen a lot of information on it, but in reading through the proposal and looking at some of the pictures, this is going to be, I think, one of the most transformative things that we have done as a city with our downtown. You're talking about 5 parking lot streets, you're talking about some garden areas, bus shelters, kiosks. I mean, this is going to change the look of downtown, and it's a fantastic project and grant. So, great job. I make a motion to approve the proposal from OHM Advisors for the professional engineering services for the downtown access and placemaking project in the amount of $506,000 and authorize the city manager to execute the contract.
Support.
It's been moved, supported. Are there any questions or comments? Thank you, Linda. Okay, thanks. City manager, anything else?
Nothing further. Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Talentino?
Yes.
Mayor Baspas?
Yes.
Commissioner Baker?
Yes.
Commissioner Collins?
Yes.
Commissioner Gary?
Yes.
Commissioner Miller?
Yes.
Motion carried. Thank you.
Item 2, under the city manager's report, would provide authorization on a food concession and ice users agreement for the Sioux Eagles Junior A Hockey Club at the Puller Community Building. On this matter, Director Wires will present to the City Commission and to the community.
Okay. Evening, Dan.
Good evening, Mayor and Commission. As you know, at the May 6th, 2019 City Commission meeting, Mr. Ron Lavin and Mr. Bruno Bragignola, representing the Sioux Eagles Junior A Hockey Club, presented and updated the City Commission in regard to their organization impact on the community and their past operation of the food concession at the Puller Community Building. At that point, and at that time, they requested an extension of 7 years to their existing agreement with the city for the operation of the food concession and shared documents with the City Commission for review and consideration. And at this meeting, the Commission made a motion to receive the reports and refer the proposal back to City Administration. After we took a chance to take a look at this and reviewed their commitment to purchase a new stainless steel hood and fire protection system to be installed in the food concession area of the Puller, and the continuation of an annual concession revenue amount of $4,150, a 5-year agreement was agreed upon. Although a 7-year request was originally requested by the Sioux Eagles for consideration, a 5-year agreement seemed very reasonable to us. They've had a 3-year agreement, then they've had extensions with the city that have equaled 5 years. So I did not see any issue with 5 years. I think 7 was a little bit long. And I did submit an attached cost estimate from the Sioux Eagles for the purchase of the safety equipment as recommended. Safety equipment as recommended by the fire chief, new stainless steel hood and fire protection system to be installed by the city. The new safety equipment would become permanent to the Puller, belong to the city, and be inspected on a yearly basis by certified technicians at a cost to the Sioux Eagles as part of this agreement. One of the things that you did receive as well, and they wanted this as part of this concession agreement, was also a user agreement, so that they run consecutively. They do have their league requirements, so this thing would be their concession agreement, also their user agreement, so they would match at the same time frame they would expire.
Thank you. City manager, any additional comments?
Just that I appreciate Director Wires' work on this matter and continuing to move forward with the users of the Puller.
Okay, thank you. There are 2 recommendations, talking with the city attorney, that can be one motion. Commissioner Collins?
Go ahead.
We can get you, let him make the motion, and we can get to your question.
Motion to authorize city administration to execute 2 agreements with the Sioux Eagles Junior A Hockey Club. Number 1, authorize an agreement for the operation of the food concession at the Puller Community Building for 5-year period beginning July 1st, 2019 and ending June 30th, 2024. Number 2, authorize an agreement for ice usage at the Puller Community Building for 5 years period beginning July 1st, 2019 and ending June 30th, 2024.
Support.
Okay, Commissioner Baker.
Yeah, I just had a question as far as installed by the city. Do we have to contract that out for somebody to install that? If so, do we know how much that's going to cost, or is it just our city employees installing the system?
City Manager?
Director Wires, if you.
Yeah, my thought would be is once we get that, I'd set up a meeting with the fire chief. Some of this, Commissioner, we may be able to install ourselves with our own crew, although we are pretty busy and pretty stretched, but certainly we'd want to have it certified. So most likely in the end, we'd have someone certified come in and do that. I don't have a cost to that, no, but we would look to try to install as much as we can ourselves.
So would that be rolled in, like something we deal with next budget session, or the cost of installing that?
Process?
In terms of that cost, there are past capital allocations for improvements at the Puller from which the funds could be drawn for the installation. Or if the costs are low enough, it could be operational as well.
Thank you.
Okay. Anything else? Okay, do we have a motion and support? Roll call, please. Yes.
Commissioner Baker?
Yes.
Commissioner Collins?
Yes.
Commissioner Gary?
Yes.
Commissioner Miller?
Yes.
Commissioner Talentino?
Yes.
Okay, motion carried. Thank you.
That concludes the city manager's report. Thank you, Mayor and Commission.
Okay, thank you. Item H is status reports. City Manager.
Thank you. First item under status reports, and the only item, is an update on the Young Eagles event at Sanderson Field. On this matter, Director Holt will present to the City Commission.
Good evening, Jeff.
Good evening, Mayor, Commissioner. Thank you for this opportunity. We're proud to announce again this year for Young Eagles Day complimentary aircraft rides up at Sanderson Field. And this compliments of the Sioux Pilots Association and the EAA Chapter 1437, which is the Experimental Aircraft Association out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And if you're age 8 through 17, you can become a Young Eagle as well. This event will be at the Sanderson Field, as I mentioned, on June 8th, starting at 8 a.m. It's a very popular event, and we encourage anyone that would like a very beautiful view of our wonderful city and surrounding area to take advantage of this. If the alternate date, if it rains, which I think we've had enough rain for a while, it'll be June 9th, the following day, at the same time frame. So, any questions? Please call the city airport at 635-0252, and they'll be glad to answer any questions that anybody might have. We're looking forward to this event, and it's pretty amazing. I did it myself, and
Great event, and I hope the weather
Yes.
holds for us.
yes, I do too.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That concludes the status report section of the agenda. Thank you, Mayor and Commission.
Okay, thank you. Item I, matters presented by the public. Anyone in the audience like to make a comment at this time? Okay, great. Moving on to J, matters presented by the City Commission. Just remember the open house tomorrow for Oliver Turner from 3 to 6. Also, the next Thursday, the 30th, Memorial Day Parade, starting at 7 o'clock around the Pingator Cleaner area, just south of the bridge, and going to Court Street, and then the get-together after down at Brady Park, put on by the Youth Advisory Council students. Commissioner Baker.
I just wanted to give a thank you to the Chippewa County Animal Shelter, the Chippewa County Community Foundation, and Marquette's for throwing an amazing throwback prom at the Armory this past Saturday. Ton of fun. Thanks to everybody that came out and supported it. The outfits were amazing. Looking forward to doing it again next year. And big thanks to the city, the DPW, Jim Rowe, Air Fountain, Tom and Russ, who have been hanging the banners, the veteran banners all week, and who will be at it again tomorrow. The DTE crew that came out and helped out. This project wouldn't have been able to come to fruition without the many volunteers. So we just wanted to give a thank you to everybody, and hope to see everybody on the 30th at the parade and down at the Legion for the party. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And also like to thank all those that were involved in the citywide cleanup. Very successful. The rain held off, and a lot of things were, a lot of garbage was picked up. Again, cleaning the city, and certainly, Commissioner Gary continues to bring his children. They've all been through the system. a great cause, and certainly John Lee, who is not here, but John continues to clean up Ashland Bay pretty much on his own, and several bags. He starts early, normally a day or a couple days before. So thanks again to all those people that continue the citywide cleanup, and certainly Mary Jo Duvall and the organization for putting that together. So thank you very much. With that, anyone else? Oh, Commissioner Miller.
I just want to echo your comments about the cleanup, but I have one suggestion. Perhaps in future years, we could get some bags that are a little more, you and I were picking up big chunks of metal and steel and
A little
glass.
heavier?
Those cheap
Yeah.
dollar store bags, no, I don't know where they get them from, but we need better bags so that we can just pick up stuff that won't fall through the bottom of them.
That's a good point. Commissioner Gary.
Everybody else is thanking somebody, so I just wanted to lastly thank Oliver Turner for your 5 years of service to the city of Sault Ste. Marie. You're a great city manager, and you're a great community person, and we really want to wish you and Anna and the kids all the best of success, even though it's in Ohio.
He deserves a standing ovation.
He does.
No question.
And with that, it is my pleasure to adjourn this last meeting with Oliver Turner as city manager.
Support?
Support.
All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you very much.